right. There we are. I cannot see my preview very well. I'll lower my mic a bit. All right. So, yeah, that looks good. And if I raise this up here and turn that a little bit. And now that little thingamajig is in the way. There we go. That's better. At least, I think. Management. We have no viewers. Oops. Do I have any sound? Yes, I do. Void access chat. Okay. Been on for 55 seconds and nobody's watching. Oh no, hey, there's two. Huh. Now, was one of them me? Or was one of them somebody else? Yeah, oh well. So, good evening, humans and gentle creatures. You remember last week when I said I was going to finish this off camera? Well, apparently I lied. Okay, no, I didn't. I just didn't have the energy to work on it. I was busy this week. So, we're going to finish it today. Hopefully. Maybe. But first thing, I forgot about something. The way these pins here are, they would just slide back and forth in holes. They wouldn't hold the bearing in place at all unless there was a part of the case that went over here where the mouse cursor is going up and down. Yeah, that is visible. But then how would you get the damn things in there? Unless the other thing was in two pieces, which I don't want it to be. So, I'm going to have to sketch. I'm going to have to put a flange on the edge of these little pins. There, we'll mark that. Okay, so the little circular dude. No, that's the wrong tool. That one. Or do I want to make it a hex and have it? It could be fine. Hopefully I don't make a fool of myself. Now, how big do I want this flange to be? How big did I make this thing? How big are you? You are a diameter of 12 millimeters. 12 millimeters. So let's strain that to gotta make this friggin' UI bigger. So yeah, 16 should be good. So now save right there. Now I want to pad this. That is entirely the wrong direction. Reversed. And that's entirely too much. Let's do. All 2 millimeters ought to be plenty. It's just gonna stop the pins from going, you know, side to side. It's fine. Oh, whoops. I forgot to hollow out the middle. Okay. Let's go add another one of these. Yeah, see, I can be just as much of an idiot designing something as I can playing a game. There. Fixed that. Now, pad that sketch the other way for 2 millimeters. And that's better. Now I can still see my little hex cut out. That almost became a void inside. Oh well. Dumb and Dumber. Okay. Now, save. Okay, so... Hey! Oh, clicked on the wrong one. I can't see. Alright. Now. Let's go back over here. So now I've got to create like a horseshoe-shaped piece that's going to hold this and go over and have a little hole for the paracord to go into and to tie in a knot. So... Boom. And if I do this right, I should be able to use the same piece not only over the green screen to redirect the paracords down, but on the corner to take the 2 paracords that are coming across and send them back down to the tie-off point, which saves me designing an entire part. So... there we go. Hanger. Make a sketch. Put it on there. Okay. So. Now, I can't reference geometry from these other things, or, you know, you're supposed to be able to, but I've never had it work. Like, freecad always complains at me, so I just have to make my best guesses. But I need to get out a part of the thing. I need a top rod, part of one. And I don't need it right away, but I will soon. The vertical. Okay, I'm having a bear of a time with this noise canceling stuff. Oh, there's only one viewer. It's probably just me. You know what, since it is just me, I gotta... I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And apparently I'm thirsty. Now, there's not much difference between this and this. I don't think I'm going to need to bother with padding it out. How far does it stand? Yeah, help turn that the right way. Okay, I will hopefully be able to just put the hanger on this part and not have to go over to this thicker bit here. My webcam seems to be reversing the image. So I'm moving my hand over here. This is my right hand. Why am I screwing that all the way down? I need it partially extended. And now what did I do with those calipers? I actually bought new batteries for these things. Was at a dollar store the other day, and they happened to have them, so yoink. All right. Okay. They're working. As I bang into absolutely freaking everything. So 18.8. 22.1. So if I make, let's see, 22, 23, 24. I think 25 millimeter inside arc should work. It should leave enough room for the fabric on either one of these. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So, but how to, so, oh yeah, I'm thinking out loud. All right. Under constrained. Yeah, duh. There's no constraints on any of these. Okay, so constraint coincident, constraint. There we go. And now I want to mention that. 2. There we go. So there's the top of that arc, and it's jumping around a little. That's a little smoother, I think. I just kicked over the tube. See? I'm as big of an idiot when I'm designing something or just moving around my desk as I am when I'm playing a game. So, there you go. I hope you are entertained. Oh. Yeah. And look, I proved it again. I'm a friggin' dumbass. Oh well. And this noise canceling is just not working worth a crap. I can't hear the fans, but I can hear everything else. Well, the fans are annoying. So I don't really want to hear them. So I'm fine with that. Jeez. Okay. So now, how low do I want these to be? So if I do a dimension from here, and currently that thinks it's just 21 and change. So What? Is that a... Hang on a second. Did it constrain a... Oh, it's a radius constraint. It needs to be a... it needs to be a freaking diameter. Divide that by 2, please. Good. I almost made that twice as big. Yeah, that would have sucked. Okay. So freecad tries now apparently to guess what constraint you want. Sometimes guess is wrong. Or maybe I'm just blind, or probably both. I literally am legally blind. Okay. So that's, I think, is that 1 centimeter or 2? Okay, so this is 12 and a half. Yeah, that's only 1. So if I do a distance from there of 10 millimeters, so that would leave a 5 millimeter or 4.5 more likely wall down here. I think I would prefer a thicker wall. So I want to set that, and I want a 5 millimeter wall, and it needs to be a tolerance. So there. 0.5 millimeter. No, how high do I want this to be? Length of, let's see, 20. Let's see what that looks like. That should be fine, I think. This will have to extend down at least another 5 millimeters. Okay, what are you? Polyline. Multiple lines. Okay, so it's going to have to come down here. So there can be a piece that pops in to guide the paracords coming up. And I think I'm just going to go straight across that. Vertical. Nope. Yeah, forgot. I just punch a hole. Okay. And right there. And is there a shortcut key for this? There does not appear to be. There we go. So that's gonna go. That's thick. What is the radius of this piece? 30. Yikes, that's big. That's very big. Hmm. 30. That's a freaking 33 millimeters diameter. That's a freaking 6 centimeter. How big is that? Come on. Well, that's current size is 66, so it's okay. The width of my hand. Okay, that's not as crazy as I thought, but I don't think the top's going to need to be that big. Maybe I'll slice that off later. Okay, so now dimension. So 20. 21. There we go. So now what do you end up being? 33 and a half. Oops. I clicked the wrong button. Well, not quite. I just didn't click the other button with it. This is too damn big. It needs to be thick on this side because of the pulley. It doesn't on this side. This does not need to be 2 centimeters wide over here. So if I click on this, huh? Okay, so huh. I don't know which freaking constraint to delete. That one. That's kind of funny looking. It's supposed to be at that one. There we go. Oh. That's going to be funny looking when I print it. Now, how far about these guys? Distance? Let's say a centimeter. Doesn't even need to be quite that much. It can narrow down some. Come on. 5 millimeters. That's really going to look screwy. Okay. Put a line right there. All right. The arc. Okay. And This software is under very rapid development. So things change and they get confusing. There we go. That'll work, I think. Let's distance that. Make it 5. This has to come up. You know, that should be good. Because it's 5 millimeters. How much of this screw on top is going to be left after this piece is put on? Stick that up a little bit. Oh, hey, and there is a washer. Nice. Good. I was going to need one of those. Need a couple more, but, you know, don't have them anywhere. So, put it up. Okay. So, help if it loosened the calipers, wouldn't it? Okay, that leaves. Ow. 16 and change. Now, how tall is the wingy nut and washer stacked? And this piece wants to fall over and hit me. Get out. And let's say 6 millimeters. So I need 6 millimeters of that thread exposed for this to go on. So as long as that's no more than a centimeter on the top, 5 millimeters ought to be tons for what I'm doing. And if I change that, yeah, even if I make that thicker, an entire centimeter. Make it funny shaped. Yeah, could save some plastic that way. Oh well. Save. Geez, this is going slower than I thought. This is not a fast process. Get back on there, wing nut and little rubber nubbin. Okay, so I need a instruction guideline. want. Perpendicular. There we go. And now vertical distance, thank you, 5 millimeters. That'll work. Maybe I'll fill that off just a little bit more lighter. Okay, so that's millimeters. Crookedy. Crookedy. There we go. And I never did constrain how tall these are, did I? So much. 20 millimeters. So how long is this line going to end up by being? 51. What if I give it 45? That does make it slightly smaller than the bottom of the piston, so maybe piston. The pulley. 50. This is 5 fucking. It's getting fairly big. So the other part's going to come down. Same amount. And straighten them together. No, it's not going to work. I have to constrain the little nubbins on the end. There. Now, what the hell is not constrained? There's some parts that's under constrained thus far, but I don't know. Let's just go with that. We'll save. I will pad. And bring this back in the middle of the screen. Symmetrically. Let's say 20. Does it need to be that bloody big? 25. Yeah, that's pretty small. How big would it be if I made it bury the pulley? Okay, well that's thick. Not as crazy as I was thinking. But still, I don't think I need to use up that much plastic. Yeah, let's just do 25 millimeters. And here we go. I'll have to have pieces that stick out on the ends to accommodate. You know, they'll just go on the ends there to act as guides for paracord coming up from below, which I can add later. Okay, now save. Okay, so now we need to make this piece. Where is that appearance? This needs to become transparent like the rest of them. There. Now I can see the other pieces. No, there isn't going to be very much of that around there at all. Maybe I should make the pad bigger. Don't know. Don't know. Don't particularly care. At least not at the moment. Yeah, so the top there will have a hole punched for the screw to poke through. Over here is going to have a hole and a cavity so a knot can slot in. For paracord, over here I have to cut out a gap for the pulley. And I got to punch holes for the pin, which is going to just go in from either side now. And slightly below the surface. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. Now, I'm going to move this mic down a little bit. So, the piece, it'll be a little wider up here. Then I'll make it a touch narrower just past here. Or maybe I won't. No, I won't. And this will be rounded up here. I'm not going to bother rounding it down here because who cares? There shouldn't be paracord running underneath. At least there won't be in any way that I intend this to be used. Ugh. I seem to be tired, don't I? Yeah, this is crazy. Last week, I designed 3 parts. This week, I haven't quite managed to design one. Well, let's crack on. So, let's grab some of the bits here. Not sure if I'm going to need that arc or not, but whatever, I've got it. So, do. Wink. And this will be exactly centered. There we go. So now we can strain those. Oh, I can actually choose. Oh, there is a hotkey. Okay. All right. Well, now that works. Okay, here we go. Speed, distance, radius. Oh God, I got jittery freaking tool tips. Distance, horizontal distance, vertical distance. Ooh. Okay, Yeah, smack my head on the mic. 21 and a half. You know what? Yeah. 21.5. 43? Nope. 43. No, 43, not 423. Let's see. What are we looking at here? That should be good. Or not. Or maybe. You are constrained at 12 and a bit. 11. So that will leave just a half millimeter of clearance on either side of the pulley, which should work nicely. Bumping into these pieces. Let's save that and bucket. Now, why does this think I only want to go part way through? 25 millimeters. Save. Okay. So how's that looking? That is looking pretty good. So the pulley will be able to spin in there freely. At least it will do once I poked holes for the bearings to go in. Okay. So. Alright, create a sketch. Why are you tipping over sideways? Now let's grab some geometry. Thank you. Yoink. And yoink. All right. This will be easy as pie. As long as I clicked on the correct arc shape this time. Now these are going to have to be a little closer fitting. Diameter, what are we looking at? So if I make that 12 on that's going to be an exact fit, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to get in. If I make it 0.5, that leaves a 1/4 millimeter on either side. That should fit. There. Now we'll need to pocket this. Mm-hmm. And 19, 20, 21. And there we go. The hole for our pin is punched. It looks like there's a ton of room, but there won't be when I print it. This is 1/4 millimeter. So, for reference, if I can get a beard here. .08 millimeter. 0. Yeah, I have this gap that's not even as thick as my fingernail. That's 0.24. And the gap on the screen here is going to be 0.25. So I'm not even going to be able to get my fingernail in there. So, I got to make another sketch. Hey, turn it up the way I had it. Thank you. Now, what are we looking at here? 16.12. So they made that 16 millimeters. So if I make this 16.5, so same thing, thin little, not a huge tolerance. That is way deeper than it needs to be. 2.5, maybe? Bullseye. Perfect. Okay, so now these don't have to squeeze the sides at all. These pins. They just have to, the ends of them in the middle of the pulley here have to push together. And that captures the center of the bearing. All these flanges need to do is to prevent this thing from wobbling. So a 0 tolerance there is fine. It'll be perfect. Now, taper angle. Am I able to do first up to face two dimensions? And second length? The hell? Huh. Oh, that's how you make a gap inside. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm just going to have to do it twice. Now, in theory, if I make another pocket with that sketch, I'm going to save this just in case of a boom. Now I do 2 dimensions. So 21. Negative 19. Five. I think that'll work. That certainly looks correct. We're gonna go with it. Yeah, I think that's right. And we'll save that. Okay, so there's that part with holes punched with little flanges on them. Sketch on here, and it's going to tip it over again. I want it like this. Thank you. 5. Okay. Now, I don't really care so much about that. And get that top one too, just in case. All right. So I need to make a hole. So I can make another hole for a paracord. Now, how big a hole do I need for this? I can't remember. Yeah, a 5mm hole. Okay, so I do something like something like this little double scaffold knot here. This will do. Hold well enough, and then I can still undo the damn thing if I need to. How big of a hole am I going to need for this? About an entire centimeter. So apparently, I'm going all the way through. Or most of it. Okay. Yeah. Now, is there a shortcut button for a symmetric constraint? Constraint symmetric. Yes. Which makes total sense. So now, distance. I want 5mm. And I want that. No. Why would it offer an angle? I don't need an angle. So 5 millimeters. Maybe I want to make this 10 millimeters. Okay, and how tall is this bloody hole? 19. Well, let's just make this 15. It doesn't need to be that big. It does not need to be stupidly tall. And move that over there. All right. Let's pocket him out. And 7, 8. You know what? I'm gonna leave a little. Save. And okay. Let's see. Does this work better if we... No, it does not. All right. So a circle. And I want symmetrically constraint. Hey! Excuse you! No. Symmetric constraints can sure behave strangely. Okay, so let's constrain this. Now, it's a diameter. Perfect. 5 millimeters. And we'll save that again. Pocket out. So I'm going to have to do a little filleting and stuff on some of these. Boink. There we go. And save that. And sketch here. Last hole. And then I can do stuff to pretty it up. But I need to grab some lines to get the hole in the correct place. There we go. Now, I want and perfect. Oh, now how big do I need to make the hole? Um, 7.7, so an 8 millimeter hole should do the job. A diameter of 8 millimeters. You know what? This washer fits pretty tight. I'm going to see how big the hole in that is. This thing off again. Should have measured this when I had this off the first time. Like I said, I'm a dumbass. Okay, so I'll finish this hole. And then I'll do some stuff to kind of ease edges and things. At least where paracord's going to be going. Oh, and I got to do the guides for the paracord coming up. Yeah, I forgot about that. All right. How big is the hole in this washer? Yeah. 8.3 and change. And it's quite loose. So let's 0.5 there. And I will pocket it through. There. Up straight. No. And there we go. And save. Okay, so there's a reasonable chance I'll be 3D printing this next week. The only part left to design after I finish polishing this one up is going to be the piece that the cord ties onto on the vertical on the leg here. So actually, let's sort of set this up a little bit and kind of figure out where that might be. So, hang on a second. Yeah, so it'll probably be on. Yeah, having it on the second lowest piece here should be a good height to tie it onto. So I'll just design it to fit that later. Yeah. I might have to get some of those sticky furniture fuzzy things to put on the bottom of these. Okay. So we'll save that. And you know what? I'll be back in a minute. All right, I'm back. I don't know if I showed this last time. Got a new water bottle. My last one fell off the counter and shattered, and I still haven't found half that lid. Okay. I'm gonna do it off the side. Hey! Excuse you? Why would I want it to be upside friggin' down? Wait a second. You know, I'm gonna make the guide thingies as a different piece that just clips on. Because that way it'll be easier to print. These will be easier to print. And I can point it in whichever way I want, and it'll use less friggin' plastic. All right, so let's do some. Come on, rotate. Come on. Select. Why won't you select? Why are you not selecting the piece that I want? Stupid thing. What are we looking at here? Big clunk or whatever. There was a setting somewhere. What is sketch? Check geometry. Sub-object. No. What are you? No. You're not the correct thing either. View. Documenting. Drop full screen zoom. Texture mapping. Visibility. Material. Appearance. Perspective. View. Full screen. Standard views. Oh, draw style. As is point. Wireframe. There. Now I can. Yeah. Come on. Move the way you're supposed to. Thank you. Fillet. View. Draw style. As is. Okay. So now. Oink. It should be good. Yep. Oh, I can go bigger. Sweet. Hey! Oh, now that's cool. Oh no, can't go bigger than 5. 1 millimeter. I want more than that. You know what? Just bring me up here. that realistically should be fine. It's just rounding the edges. Just a hair. Now I should fill it all that so it doesn't scratch the piss out of my green screen fabric. There. That should be good. You don't want to damage the expensive green screen material. What happens if I fill it this? Not much. Not very much. Let's cancel that. If I fill it. I just want to see what this will look like. Very weird. Doesn't really do much there. Here we go. Oh. Move, you stupid thing. Those should be fine in theory. We're not going to be doing much. What happens if I do this? Oh, so it auto-fillets everything down there. You know what? Except that it might make it more possible. Nah, I'm not going to worry about that. Shouldn't be an issue. Should not be an issue at all. Okay, so let's save this over here. Shrink all these up, because holy smokes, there be a lot of pieces. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? Just because I can. Yeah, now I'm just screwing around and having fun. Tools. We'll finish those. Should I? No, I'm not going to waste time. So, that, I think, should be good enough. Oh. Yeah. All right. Save now. This only leaves one little part to go on here, which might not even really be necessary. And then the tie-off piece, which is probably going to require several parts. You know what? I think I'm going to call this tonight. Which was decent progress. So, if I manage to work on any of this off camera and finish it, we'll be 3D printing next week. If I don't, then we'll be working on this some more next week. Either way, we'll be doing something. So that'll be a good night.